Greetings, students. I want to welcome you once again to my YouTube channel. I'm happy that you are benefiting from what we are doing here. So, in today's class, I want to talk about one of the types of tissues that I've really not talked about, and that is the connective tissue. Don't forget that I previously defined tissue as a group of cells that have common origin, common structure, and perform common function. That is what a tissue is. And I also said we have four different types of tissues. We have the epithelial tissue, we have the connective tissue, muscular tissue, and the nervous tissue. And I've taken time to explain the nervous tissue, the muscular tissue, and the epithelial tissue. So in today's class, I will just talk about uh, the the connective tissue. Just a minute. Just a minute. Okay. So we have the four different types of tissues. The first one is four different types of connective tissue. The first one is the blood and lymph. Now, when we talk about the blood, of course, the lymph is the fluid that is found within the lymphatic system, and of course, it connects different parts of the body together. Then the blood, why is blood regarded or referred to as a connective tissue? One is that blood is made up of, is made up of, comes from the same origin as other connective tissue. There is this tissue that is called the mesenchyme. The mesenchyme, the mesenchyme. The mesenchyme is the embryonic tissue from whence other connective tissues, arises from, other connective tissues arise from, sorry, or are derived, the mesenchyme. And the blood is also derived from this mesenchyme tissue. So other connective tissues and the blood have common origin, and that is why blood is regarded as a connective tissue. Because somebody may be, asked that kind of question in the exam. But then, apart from this, it is also important that you understand that the blood also has ECM. The ECM is the extracellular matrix, the non-living component of the cell, which is produced by the fibroblast. However, the ECM of the cell is not in the solid form, but in the liquid form, and that is what we call the plasma. The extracellular matrix of the blood is known as a plasma. And of course, the blood connects different parts of the body together. So I'm just giving you three reasons why the blood is always regarded as a connective tissue. One is that it came from the same origin, or it originates from the same mesenchyme tissue, from whence other connective tissue also arise from. Then, of course, it contains the liquid matrix that is called the plasma. Then, of course, it connects different parts of the body together. Having thought about the blood, then let's now look at the connective tissue proper. Connective tissue proper. Connective tissue proper. Okay, but then I don't think I did. I don't, okay, let me. I don't think I gave a kind of introduction of this connective tissue. Okay, now let me just give the introduction before I continue. Now, when we talk about connective tissue, the word connective means bringing things together. So, a connective tissue is a tissue that connects different tissues and organs together. So, you discover that between the spaces between tissues and organs are filled with connective tissues. And this space or spaces are made up of cells and the products of the cells. The cell itself that you find within this space, sorry, is what we call the fibroblast. The cell you find within these spaces is called a fibroblast. So as you know, we have this as a tissue. We also have this as a tissue. We also have this as a tissue. The spaces The spaces between these tissues are made up of this fibroblast. But this fibroblast, which is the prominent cell that is found within this space or spaces, produces an extracellular material, which is called the ECM. The ECM is extracellular matrix. Extracellular matrix. Extracellular matrix. This extracellular matrix is of course made up of fibers and a polysaccharide gel. A polysaccharide gel that is also called a ground substance. So the ground substance and the fibers are part of the ECM, which is the extracellular matrix. It's important you know that these fibroblasts and this ECM are all part of the materials found within these spaces. The cell helps to produce the ECM, which of course I said made up of the gel, because these tough protein fibers, are embedded within the polysaccharide gel. So the tough protein fibers and the ground substance or the polysaccharide gel are part of the ECM, the non-cellular, the extracellular material. But I'm not trying to say that the tough protein fibers are embedded within the polysaccharide gel. And the two, the polysaccharide gel and the fiber, are produced from the most prominent cell within this space, and that cell is known as the fibroblast. So fibroblast is living but produces a non-living product which is called the ECM. Okay, so that is the introduction for connective tissue. And I now have explained blood, giving reason why blood is regarded as a connective tissue. So let's now talk about connective tissue proper. Now, if you talk about connective tissue proper, there are two different tissues that are prominent when talking about the connective tissue proper. And that is the one we call the loose connective tissue, and the dense connective tissue. The loose connective tissue and dense connective tissue. So these two, the loose connective tissue and the dense connective tissue, are the two different types of tissues that are found within the connective tissue proper. Now the loose connective tissue is given that name loose because of the loose nature of its fibers. What do I mean? I mean that the fibers are not tightly packed together. The loose weave of its fibers, the fibers are loosely packed together. They are loosely connected to each other. They are loosely connected to each other. That is why they are called the loose connective tissue. And that's the first type of the connective tissue proper. This type of tissue, the loose connective tissue, are made up of three different types of fibers. The first one is the collagenous fiber, and the function of the collagenous fiber is to, bring about resistance within the skin. For instance, if you pull the skin, the process of the collagenous fiber resists this stretching of the skin so that you don't pull up the skin from the bone. However, if anything happens, if probably the collagenous fiber has been denatured, probably somebody was burnt, or maybe you boil a chicken or what have you, because the collagenous fiber has been denatured, it becomes easy to pull off the skin. But when you say active, it is the function of the collagenous fiber to resist this stretching, to bring about resilience within the skin, because of course the collagenous fiber is found there. So that is the function of the collagenous fiber. Then the elastic fiber, the function of the elastic fiber, elastic is the second one. So let me mention this. The different types of fibers you see within the loose connective tissue. The first one is collagenous fiber. Second one is elastic. The third one is reticular. Reticular. Fiber. So the function of the collagen, the elastic fiber is to retain the it is equipped with tensile strength in such a way that it helps to return the position of the skin when eventually stretched. For instance, if I stretch the skin, you can see the way I've stretched it now. While the collagenous fiber is resisting the stretching, the elastic fiber ensures that this skin returns back to almost immediately when it was stretched, returns back to its normal position. So you can see now, this is my hand. Immediately I remove the hand, the skin returns back to its normal position. That is because of the presence of elastic fiber. Then the reticular fiber provides a framework that connects different tissues and organs together. So these are the three different types of fibers that are found within the loose connective tissue. There's another type of tissue that is also found within the loose connective tissue, and that's the adipose tissue. And of course, the function of the adipose tissue is to store fat within the cells. Within the cells, you know, the fats that are stored within these cells, they are also used as fuel when it is necessary. The second type of tissue, apart from this loose connective tissue, don't forget that I said that the connective tissue proper is made up of two different types of tissues, the loose connective tissue and the dense connective tissue. Now, the difference between the loose connective tissue and dense connective tissue is the fact that in dense connective tissue, the fibers are tightly packed together. They are closely packed together. The fibers are closely packed together. They are closely packed together. So that is what we call the dense connective tissue. And the fibrous tissue is a typical example of this dense connective tissue, the fibrous tissue. Now, where do we see this kind of tissue, the dense connective tissue? You see the dense connective tissue within the tendons that connect muscles and bone, and of course within the ligaments that also connects bones together. That is where you see the dense connective tissue. So that is all about the connective tissue proper. Coming to collagenous, coming to cartilage. Remember, the after the uh, connective tissue proper, the next one is the cartilage. The cartilage. The cartilage. The cartilage is made up of an abundance of collagenous fibers that are shrouded or embedded uh, within a within a rubbery substance that is called chondrin. They're embedded within a rubbery substance. When we say rubbery, that means it's elastic and behaves like rubber. This chondrin, which is a rubbery substance, is a protein carbohydrate complex. However, this chondrin and the collagen are being secreted by the cartilage cell, what is called the chondrocyte. The chondrocyte. The chondrocyte. It is a chondrocyte that secretes this. And these chondrocytes are located within the ground substance. They are located within the ground substance and confined to, they are usually confined to a space that is called the lacuna. So this is the lacuna, lacunae, then this is the chondrocyte. This is the chondrocyte. This is the chondrocyte. So this space, like I said, is called lacuna. Then the cell itself that you see here is called the chondrocyte. The chondrocyte. The chondrocyte. So as you can see, so these are embedded within the ground substance within the cartilage. So we have the lacuna, the spaces where the chondrocytes are confined in is what we call the lacuna. Then I said the chondrocytes are the cells, the cartilage cells that secretes the chondrin and the collagenous fiber. And like I said, this cartilage is made up of an abundance of collagenous fiber, providing both strength and flexibility to the cartilage. We have different types of cartilage, the hyaline cartilage, the elastic cartilage, and the rest of them, but we don't want to go into that. This is just a preliminary study of the connective tissue. Don't want to go deep into studying some other aspects of this course, because this is for basically for 100 level students. Then the last one is what's it called again? We've talked about uh, the first one, which is blood and lymph, connective tissue proper, cartilage, and the last one is bone. So when it comes to bone, you discover that the bone, in addition to the matrix, the bone is being, hardened by the the fact that the matrix is being impregnated by salt. mm, by salt. These salts are two different categories. We have calcium triisocarbonates and calcium phosphate. Calcium phosphate. So the ECM, of course, know that cartilage is strong, but not as strong as a bone. So the reason why the bone is stronger than cartilage is because of the fact that the extracellular matrix of the bone is impregnated. Is impregnated by this salt, the calcium triisocarbonates and calcium phosphate. So these salts actually make the bone to be somewhat stronger than the cartilage. And of course, this bone is secreted by the bone cells that is called the osteoblast, which of course are arranged in circle around blood vessels and nerves, and of course to form what is called the Hervatian system. And this is where we'll stop for today. I don't want to go into deep. I want to go deep explaining the bones and what have you. Second year for medical students, you have all the time to go deeply in the explanation or in the study of the bone and the cartilage. This is just to give you an overview of what it is. This is not a deep study of the cartilage and the bone. So we are going to stop here for today, and in my next class, we'll now stray or begin to look at the animal kingdom, the uh, the non-coelomates, the coelomates, and the rest of them. We'll have a lot to talk about as time permits us. See you in my next class.